Hey YouTube, so today I'm working on the Boulevard. We've got the notorious angry sewing machine sound coming from the front cylinder, front jug. What I'm going to try to do is adjust my valves first. I need to do a little more research, find out exactly what the clearances are supposed to be. When I find out, I'll make sure I add that in the video. First thing I'm going to do is take this speedometer assembly off. There's a Allen key right there, one there, and one there that I already took out. So with the intruder, that's kind of been a little bit of a wiring nightmare. The person that stole the bike kind of rigged everything and buggered crap together, and this is the wiring harness for the right hand control. They had all ripped apart, and yeah, lovely. So then there's this too, because they ripped the ignition off, so I got to go through and fix all that. And I've got the carburetor off of it. I'm gonna go through both carbs. I got one of them done yesterday, a little Mikuni. Pretty strange looking carburetors, like, because they're obviously on different sides of the engine. But I'll go ahead and fire this thing up here so you can maybe hear the notorious sound. Probably help if it was on. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Try to get close to it. Yeah, you can hear it better on this side for sure. So that's where we're at. I'll get this off and then okay, so once you get those three bolts out, and I think it's worth noting there's two different sizes of bolts. The short one here, which is notably shorter, goes here on the bottom. The other two are the same size. You get them off, it's just one little connector, goes into the bottom of the speedometer right there. Just a little push tab on it right there. Push that in, pull it right out, no problem. So I just wanted to add real quick too, I'm doing away with the intros to my videos. YouTube's kind of making it a pain in the ass for me. So we'll just kind of roll with the punches on that one. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the seats and the tank off. And so to get these seats off, it's actually really simple. You just take this strap, pull it right off the front of that back seat. Take that nut out, bolt, not nut, and then the back of the seat will come up where you can get access to under here. There is, yeah, I can't see them. There's two more of them right underneath here. Once you get that out and take this off, this back seat pad comes off. Take them two out and the front seat comes off. Very easy. Okay, I took this back bolt out right there behind the back seat. Now this seat should slide right off there, just like that. No problem. It's worth noting because when I first got the bike, I didn't realize how it came off and got put back on, so I had a little bit of a time getting this, you know, out of the way and trying to get them bolts in. But anyway, there they are. You just take them two out and then the front seat comes off. Okay, so we got the seats off. Just a thing here. It's a good habit to get into if you're taking anything apart, especially if you're not real familiar with it. And that's how I started doing that. But it just turned out to be a good habit, so I never stopped. Number one, it helps keep your bolts where they came out of, if this is possible. It's not always going to be. Two, you obviously aren't going to lose them if they're threaded in. And three, if you got some kind of a crusty bolt or something like that, sometimes doing this will help loosen it up. But another thing, you should always do, especially with stuff like this where it actually bolts through under the fender and it gets, the bottom side of them threads get exposed to the elements from the back tire. So good thing to do is just throw a little anti-seize on bolts, especially bolts that you don't take out a lot. Just, it'll help you so much. Do yourself a favor when you're taking things apart, find a place to put them. Now, I've got all my parts stacked up right there. That way you're not dropping your seat or your speedometer or whatever it is you're taking off. Find a good place to put it. It'll help you a lot in the long run. Alright, so we got our tank off. I just wanted to point out a couple of things here. There's a bolt, obviously the big bolt, that holds the gas tank on. The bolt's in right here. There is a sleeve on that bolt that may end up staying in the tank. See if I can get it off here one-handed. Okay, oop. This sleeve. Just watch for that, as it probably will stay in the rubber grommet for the tank, so you won't lose it. But to take this tank off, there was a little plug right here for your fuel sending unit and the fuel line. And being that this is fuel injected, that tank isn't going to keep leaking. It's got a valve on it. So I think I may have lost 3 or 4 drops of gas total. Nothing to worry about. Again, this is a 2005 Suzuki Boulevard C50T. There isn't a whole lot of information on these on the internet. One thing I had a hell of a time finding is this. This is your radiator cap. Now, I did not know where on earth this thing was. See, my fluid looks good. It's up where it should be. Kind of sucks that you got to take the tank off to check it, but it is what it is. So now that we've got that apart, I'm going to have to do a little bit of digging to get in there to where my valve covers are, so that I can try to get them adjusted, and hopefully that'll take care of my issue. Really rather not have to drop the motor. So okay, so I'm admitting defeat on this one for now. I mean, as you can see, I've got pretty big hands. They don't fit very good in them little spaces. But just to give you an overview, okay, there's lots of technical information online as to exactly how to check the valve clearance. But there's a plug right here you gotta take off, and one right here you gotta take off. Okay, so this is the one you rotate the engine with. This is the sight. So if you look in there with a light, you can see front or rear. Okay, so in here are your valve covers. There's one right there. One of them is an 8mm bolt, the other one's a 10. These are both 8mm bolts. You can see it pretty good, I guess. But as you can see, my hand barely fits in there. Okay, so taking the valve covers off wasn't a lot of fun anyway. But actually setting the clearance, I rotated the engine where it was supposed to be. I could feel it had a little bit of clearance in it. I couldn't get my feeler gauge in there to actually check it. I'm gonna have to go with, I'm gonna have to wait on this one, okay, until I pull the engine, which I planned on doing anyway, so that I can actually get a better visual as to what the hell's going on anyway. But meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and order parts, chain, and the sprockets, tensioners, and head gaskets, and get all that stuff on its way. And then when I pull the engine, I'm just going to go ahead and replace it all. If anybody has any information as to aftermarket stuff for that, leave a comment down below. Feel free to subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.